Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to KNKL show number 320, part 3. Painting Portraits with Wayne. It's the Christmas special, guys. Welcome to part 3. If you're interested in checking out the other 2 parts, we are working on this right here, the lovely Wayne piece. And yeah, we're going to be finishing it up with a little bit of lighting, a little bit of line coloring, and final stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that. Enough dilly-dallying. Let's get right back to it. Okay, guys, so we took a little bit of a break. Took a break to kind of collect our thoughts, reorganize, refigure out where we are going. And let me just kind of catch you guys up to where we are. So we've got all of our layers, all of our materials separated out onto their own layers. So we can deal with them one at a time. We can light them one at a time. Okay? Now, and we've locked them by hitting this little checkerboard down here. So if you select that, you can go to all of your layers, and now you can begin lighting them the way that you choose. Lighting them nicely. So let's go ahead and continue with that. So the general idea that I had here, guys, was here's a good reason why you should always be going on breaks. One, you want to make sure that you're resting your muscles, resting your thinking muscle, resting your heart in case you're having a hard time. And on that note, I'm really surprised that this has been going as well as it has, because I feel like things don't normally go this well for me. So I think that's a good testament to just relaxing, having a good time, not feeling like I really have to make everything perfect. And yeah, and look, things just turn out dandy. Okay. So while I was on my break, I had this idea that I wanted to have this picture in terms of read in terms of like 3 main layers. Okay. And we're going to accomplish that by having differences in values. Okay. So we're going to have layer 1 right here. Then layer 2 is going to be here with the trees. Layer 2 is right here. And then layer 3 is, of course, the sky. All this stuff back here. So I want these to be our 3 main reads. Now, in order for this to work, we need to have, need to have contrast. So we have bright colors back here, followed by dark colors in here. And then, in order to create another silhouette, we need to change the values once again. We need to either go darker, which is a possibility, but in this case, I want to bring attention to this. I want to bring attention to Wayne. So we're actually going to be going the other way. We're going to be going brighter. So all of these lights right here, our lighting scheme right here is going to be much brighter. Okay, and hopefully that will give us the look that we're going for. It's going to be high contrast, however, though, because remember, we're talking about contrast. We're talking about exposure. Our eyes are opening wide so that way we can absorb all the light. So we're going to have quite a bit of contrast on the skin and just everywhere else. I mean, you'll see what I'm talking about as we do that. But it's something to keep in mind as we go forward. Okay? So with contrast in mind, that means that our lights are going to be very bright. Okay, very, very bright gold shadows, or gold lights here, okay? So all the golds will be looking like this. So see the difference between that? So this is almost like a soft lighting. This is a much harder light. This is a much higher contrast light. This is what we're going for, okay? So, and the reason why that's happening is because of exposure. Exposure, in a nutshell, okay? So let's go ahead and light our whites. Again, high contrast, high exposure. There we go. That looks pretty dang cool. I like that a lot. Now let's go to the reds. Let's go ahead and kick up some reds. Maybe not that red. I kind of like it more like this. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Let's take care of the reds back here. And you can see how I'm just going layer by layer, focusing on one thing at a time. Focusing on one thing at a time, taking it easy. Taking care of business and taking it easy. Okay, see? Oh, there's a good example. See how that high contrast really helps us to feel like it's a bright sunlight that's hitting her face? Let's go ahead and kick this light up as well. So there's going to be bright lights all through here. Bright lights all through here. Not to mention she's got her tan line, which I think we'll deal with at the end. Right now I just want to light her face more so it looks natural. So we want to have that subsurface scattering. Okay, guys? That means that we go from desaturated skin, and then we're going to saturate a little bit. See how we're moving down to the right? Then as we come down here, we go back to desaturate. So we create that boomerang effect, color boomerang. Okay, but in general, I found that keeping your girls' faces fairly flat, like I mean, because it's an anime girl, but in general, I found that using low contrast shades on the face really lends a lot to the face. It just always looks good. Putting key cast shadows like underneath the nose. Okay, for instance. Let's go ahead and darken this down. Let's put a nice key cast shadow on the nose right there. Also, there will be key cast shadows on the hair. Okay, and these shadows should be cooled off as well. Let's cool off these shadows. So see how I'm putting some more blue into them. I actually just eyedropped this color down here and I'm dropping it in. Okay, and there you have it. So we're starting to get a good looking girl here. Good looking girl. Good looking Wayna. All right, cool. Let's make sure we have a little bit of light on the chin as well, because we have a little bit of that geometry happen there. You got to do a little bit of geometry on this, guys. A little bit. Be prepared. Do a little bit of geometry. Let's go ahead and do some hot highlights, specifically on the cheeks right here. Whoop, that might be a little much. Specifically on the cheeks and nose. That looks all right, I guess. Actually, I think it looked better the way it was before. Yeah, that looks fine. Let's stick with that. Maybe I'll have like a shine right there. Yeah, I think a shine on the nose would be nice. Shine on! Yeah, good. Good, good, good. Good, very good. I want some harder shadows as well, though, especially in these areas of deep dark shadow. Like right there, under the ears, also going to be heavily shadowed, like that. Just to get a little bit more of that contrast that we oh so like. We like oh so much. Cool. I did not make a layer for the tongue, so let's quickly just lay that in as well. Shouldn't take long. Just kind of throw that in there like that. Let's go ahead and make it a little bit more red and pink like that. That should look good. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Okay, we're looking good so far, guys. We're looking really good so far. Let's continue down here. Let's go ahead and light the boobs. Most important part of our piece. A most important part. Let's not forget about our cast shadows. We're going to have a cast shadow coming through here. Under here. Yep, there you go. Cast shadows, ladies and gentlemen. Do not forget them. It'll make your drawings look so much better. And there we go. Yeah, nice bright lights on this end. Because I'm imagining the light is coming similar to how we lit the clouds. See, it's coming from the top right of the piece. We want to make sure that that is consistent throughout the entire thing. Okay? So, let's continue with that. Shall we? Let's see here. I want a little bit more light there and there. Because I want the cheeks to be rosy. I really want the cheeks to look very rosy. As well as the nose. I'm going to add a little bit more rosiness to the nose. Yeah, there we go. A little bit more like that. There we go. A little bit of rosiness to the cheeks. Always makes it look really nice. Cool. Isn't that awesome? Look at how much life we just added to that piece right there. Let's also make sure that we have some nice subsurface going on with the ears. Nice subsurface going on with the ears. And let's have a nice hot light on those ears like that. Yeah, that looks great. It's grand. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. All right, so let's continue with our golds. I actually feel like the gold is going a little bit too far yellow. Let's try to kick it more towards orange. Yeah, there we go. Oh yeah, that's good. Cooling off the shadows on our golds. Just a tad bit. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks great. Have a little shine on there. A little shine on there. Have some reflected light. Let's not forget about our reflected light, guys. Because that is one of the things. That's going to take your picture from okay to looking really good. Okay? So let's go ahead and put some of those reflected lights in our golds. So pay attention here. Boom, boom. Put a little bit maybe there. There. Let's put it on the reds too. Let's put some gold, or rather reflected lights on our shadows and the shadows of our reds. This is really going to start bringing your character into the into the piece. Okay? Because before they looked okay, they looked like they were kind of there, but this is really going to make them look like they're actually there. And it all has to do with reflected light. And that's why we set up the background. That way we can look at it and be like, yes, this is how it's supposed to look. This is how my piece is supposed to look. And that character looks like it actually exists there. Okay, put a little bit of blue right there as well. Doesn't that look awesome? Doesn't that look awesome, guys? Love that stuff. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the green. And this is why I like having everything set up on its own too, guys, because now you can really get in there. And you can just light things very plainly and simply. You can just get in there and be like, okay, well, there's a light there. There's going to be a heavy light right there as well. I kind of want this to be a little bit more bluish, right? Just to kind of fade in with the rest of the piece. I feel like, yeah, like for some reason, like these lighter shadows or these cooler shadows is keeping with our, oh yeah, right in the center there, right in the middle. Yeah, you want to make sure that your lights aren't going like too crazy to the other direction. Like don't put this green in there. I mean, it looks okay, but you want to be very selective. Maybe just like a little bit in there, right? Just a tiny little bit, because too much and it'll start to pull away from. It'll start to pull away from the, what's the word? Cohesiveness. It'll start to pull away from the cohesiveness that is in your drawing already. Okay, I'm gonna put a little bit of reflected light here on these things. Definitely some down here. And I'm just grabbing this blue. I'm grabbing this blue and literally just like throwing it in there. Look at that. See how it just makes everything look so nice. There we go. All right, let's put some blues on the board. Blues on the board. Let's put a little bit of green there, just a tad bit, kind of getting reflected onto that area. Looks good. Not too much because it's not directly in our sunlight. But like say like this binding will be reflecting a little bit and kind of lighting this area. So you'll have a little bit of that. Might be overthinking it, but doesn't matter because you can experiment with that stuff. And that's why we like it. That is why we like it. Okay, so cool thing with the hair specifically, guys. So you want to make sure that when you light your hair, whoops, you want to make sure that it's locked first. And then second of all, you want to make sure that your hair has a very thin highlight. I've noticed that sometimes people like to do stuff like this. You'll kind of do that. Actually, that's okay to do. That is okay to do. But you want to make sure when you get to your hot highlight, your hottest highlight, you want to make sure that that is very thin. Because as you make it thinner, it tends to make the hair look even more shiny. Okay? So you can do stuff like that. You can have those broad bands that go through there. But then when you get in there to do the super hot highlight, make sure it's very thin. We're even going to pull some of this darker color back up into there. So we have something like that. Cool. And then also, reflected light plays a big picture in hair as well because hair is very reflective. And it's going to pick up a lot. It's going to pick up a ton of reflected light. Okay, but make sure that there's some nice dark contrasts in there. I'm going to take this color, I'm going to darken it down just because I want more contrast in this hair. It's very shiny yet very contrasty. Like that. That is what I wanted right there. There we go. And see how the more you push the black or the darker parts to it, the shinier it becomes. That's what I like. I like that stuff. Gonna put a little bit of that reflected in there. And that looks great. See, that's nice shiny hair. We like that. That's all accomplished by making sure your highlights are nice and skinny. Skinny highlights. Okay. So final things, I'm going to just kind of touch up on this gold a little bit more. I want to put some hot highlights on this gold. And the way that you make gold look shiny is very similar as well. You can push those highlights. You can push the darker tones towards the highlights, and it will also give it an appearance of being shinier. Something kind of like that. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. There you go. Just trying to find that happy medium. Yeah, that looks so great. I scratch my nose in delight. All right, guys, so we got ourselves a good looking picture here. We are about ready to move on to our line coloring, and then overpainting. And then we done. Time to answer some questions, then go hang out with my bunnies. I got new bunnies. My Christmas gift to myself. My girlfriend actually introduced me. She opened my heart to the world of bunnies. And now I love them so much. I'll have to post a picture on the MZ of my Christmas bunnies. But they're so dang cute. I love just hanging out with them so much. they're so relaxing, you know? They're so relaxing. All right, but that's enough about bunnies. We need to get into... Oh, let me put a little bit of red or a little bit more of this light. Actually, I think that looks good without it. Maybe just a tad bit right there. But I think overall, we're ready to go into line coloring, people. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it for the bunnies. Color line. All right, guys, so now you have a picture that looks about like this, and you're happy with it, but you're like, oh, but all the lines they're all black, and it's creating all these nasty, muddy colors in there. I don't like any of that stuff. Fear not, because I'm going to teach you guys how to color your lines, okay? So go to your line layer, which you can find if you just turn it off, right? Create a new layer on top of it, and name it something like color line. And then you're going to hit Alt, hold Alt, and then click between these two layers, and that is going to clip it back. Now, what this allows you to do is to color your lines. You can now go through and paint just the lines any color that you want. Can you see where we're going with this? I think you do. Let's go ahead and get into it. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin going through here, and instead of having our lines all be dark black, right, we can now begin painting them whatever color we wish, and we can soften them effectively. So check this out. See how I go through here? I'm painting this now red. Maybe I actually want it to almost completely disappear. Let's go ahead and kick it to like this bright pink. And look at that. See how it now begins to just kind of blend with the skin? And you can do that throughout the entire piece. I'm actually going to leave that line there because I really like it. But I'm going to go through this entire thing, and I'm going to begin softening my lines. Softening my lines. Quick tip, I found that reds work very well for the edges of the skin. It just tends to make them look very alive and just good looking in general. I also really like to have red go towards the eyes. Or red just in this general area. Like, see what I'm talking about? This area. I like to put a little bit of red there just to kind of simulate the eyelid that's happening. The eyelid thing, you know what I'm talking about. Put a little bit of red there, a little bit of red there. Yeah, just red in the face tends to just look very, very natural and good. So always do it. Okay, red in this ear, red in that ear. Okay, see what we're doing, guys? We're already looking good. Already looking really good. All right, it's going to look really good also on our golds. Let's do like this brownish. Start putting that into our golden areas. See how that lightens it up? Makes it look really nice. Very nice. And this is just kind of a sped up version of it. Usually I take a little bit more time with this, but because I want to show you guys my full process, kind of speeding it up just a tad bit. Okay, a little bit of red in there. Specifically in the areas of light, I've found it works well. It works very well. You don't need to worry about it so much in the areas of shadow. In fact, like darker colors there and desaturated colors are going to look better in that area. But in areas of high color, so say like specifically this hair area, it's going to look really good to get in there and like add some blues to it. Add some blues to these hairlines. Okay, see that there? And then along the edges here, put some red there, put some red in here. But yeah, it looks really good in areas of bright colors. Let's go ahead and color the sweater. Let's get to that. And I will color this. Let's make it like this dark brown. That might give us what we're looking for there. Should maybe like a blue? Actually, the blue looks good too. I'll just make it blue. I like that bright contrast change right there. That contrast change looks really good. Yeah, all right, guys. So see what we've done there? We've added life back into our lines. Adding life to lines. Very important part. Very important part to your piece. Let's go ahead and add in a little bit more there as well. You don't want to go too crazy with it because then it's going to look like your entire character is glowing. And I totally got to sneeze. Woo! Thank heaven for the sneeze button. It's getting chilly, man. Like, the chilliness of this picture is totally throwing me off. But I've also found that coloring your shadows can help too. So let's see what happens when we change our darker colors to like these dark blues. Let's see if that adds a little bit more character to our piece. Yeah, I actually really like that. So it's a very subtle thing. I don't know if you can actually see that, but what I'm doing is I'm adding blue to the shadows. Sort of adjusting and changing the shadows of my piece to be this dark blue. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to move into overpainting. Yay! That's my favorite part, overpainting, because that means we're almost done. We're almost done. Let's go ahead and flip this. Take a look at how we're doing. Yeah, that looks freaking awesome. Wow, that looks great. So happy with that. Kind of want to just paint this entire thing out. Oh yeah, that looks good. Looks really, really nice. If you can't tell, I am really getting into this now. See, because we already did all the hard parts. All the hard parts are already done. Now we just get to relax and have fun and just let our piece come together the way it was meant to be. Yeah, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. Cool. All right, guys, so let's get to overpainting. I'm actually going to overpaint this way. Now, you might ask, why am I switching the camera around? Why am I flipping the canvas so much? And the reason is because I feel like it gives you fresh eyes on the piece. It gives you fresh eyes when you look at it when it's mirrored. You can sometimes pick out little changes that you need to make, little mistakes that you've made in the past, and it allows you to fix them and continue with the way that you want it to go. But it just gives you, yeah, it's mostly fresh eyes because you look at a piece for a little while and you're automatically going to be seeing it differently than someone who just walks up behind your shoulder and gives you unwanted criticism on it. You know, it's like it's going to look different to them. So doing this allows you to step into their shoes for a moment and see your own mistakes before someone comes in and gives you that crappy advice that you're probably not going to listen to anyway. All right, but let's continue because we need to finish this off. Okay, so something that I really want to do here. This is the point where we're now in OP stage. We have become overpowered. We have become a god over our own drawing. And now basically anything that we say goes, okay? And that means stuff like, okay, I want to get in here and I want this part of the visor or the part of the goggles to be mega bright. That looks not good. Let's go ahead and fix that. Ah, there we go. Mega bright. And then this over here can have like that type of thing. There we go. So now we got like a nice little reflection type of thing happening there. Okay. And then we can go through here. And now you are basically just finishing your piece up. You're finishing it up by going in there and just making all those final little details. All those little things that you always wanted to see. Cleaning up your geometry. Cleaning up your reeds is very important. Very, very important to clean up your reeds. That just has to do with making sure that your values are reading clearly. Like, see, for example, I'm going in here and I'm putting in some brighter values. Why is that? Because I want to have a clear difference between the visor, or sorry, not the visor, I keep calling it that, the goggles and the edge of them, right? The goggles and the frame, right? The lens and the frame. That was what I was trying to say. Okay, cool. And then you can also go in there and add additional details. Like you can take this gold and like put it in there and see how now it kind of creates a new facet to these goggles. Add some more detail to them. Very good. And that's what we like. That is what we like. And overall, just kind of cleaning this stuff up. Sometimes you'll, oh, I actually like that blue in there. That didn't make total sense, but I like the way it looks. Sometimes you just got to trust your instinct too. Just trust yourself when you see something that you like. Oftentimes, there's a reason for it. You should just roll with it. Okay, cool. Yeah, look at that. So now we got that nice bright light coming through. Love it, love it. Very cool. Okay, bright reds. Let's go ahead and throw some more bright reds in there. I know I want one right there. I want one right here. I want some right there and there. And see how I'm just kind of like pulling out the shapes that I like? I'm just pulling out the shapes that I like that were there previously, but now I'm just making them a little bit more, like adding a little bit more detail to it. See that? See, I'm just like adding in these strokes. And I like it when you can get that detail by just putting in like strategic shapes. You know what I'm saying? Rather than really having to go in there and like define what that material is. Just allowing your lighting to tell that story for you. I really think that that is what separates good artists from amazing artists. Of course, as I do it myself. Of course, I say whatever I do is like what a good artist would do, right? Pumping myself up. But yeah, I really like to capture. I always ask myself, is there a way to capture that feeling? I'm always asking myself about feelings because I'm a fan of capturing feelings with the simplest way possible. I like to capture feelings. I like to give people emotions when they look at my work without it having to be super clean or super refined necessarily. It's refined where it needs to be, but in other ways, it's actually very rough still. And I like doing stuff like that. But find something that works for you. Find that happy medium. Make this extra bright. And again, pull those highlights in. Pull those highlights in and it'll give your hair a shinier look. Okay. And don't forget to go through there. Another cool thing that I like to do with hair is I'll go through and I'll kind of like line the edges. Kind of like do this type of stuff. See how I had one like right there? Sometimes I'll take a couple hairs and I'll kind of like create these little flyaways, right? Sort of like this. And those always look nice too. Adds a little bit more detail to the piece and it's not too hard to do. Also adds to the endearing messy hair look that Wayna has in this piece. There we go. And notice how my lines are still there. My lines are still there, but I'm allowing more so the difference in contrast or the difference in value to create the lines, as opposed to this is Wayna's hair right here. This is Wayna's face. Rather, look at the differences in value. Do you see how these values are slightly darker? All right, all these values that are behind Wayna's face are darker. So technically, as I just paint these away, I could technically paint these lines completely out if I wanted to. And just allow, see, look at that. Just the difference in this contrast, or just the difference in these values is what is going to communicate to my viewer what's going on. However, I do like a little bit of lines in there, so I'm gonna leave them. But if you wanted to, the question is not can you, but if you wanted to. All right, we'll just go ahead and kind of clean that up. I'm gonna try not to touch the face too much because I really like the way this looks. I think it looks really cute. And I don't want to mess with it too much. However, I will just kind of clean these areas up. Give her a little nostril there because she needs to be able to breathe, of course. And let's throw in, now that we're here, let's throw in that awesome tan line effect. So I'm going to make this area very bright. I'm going to make this area even brighter than the rest of the face. And then once it gets down here, it'll be a little bit darker. Hopefully that should give us the look that we want. Also, I really like to work on multiple OP layers. So when you're about to make a big change to something, especially on the face, I always find it very beneficial to go in there and give yourself a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not leeway, but give yourself some room to experiment. Yeah, that's what it is. Give yourself some room to experiment. I feel like this nose needs to be shaded like this, and then this needs to come up a little bit. Have some light right there. And there you go. That should give us the look we're going for. So this area is still lit, but I want it to be darker. Let's darken it down a little bit. Oftentimes I'll do this. I'll kind of like take my soft brush on the OP layer, and I'll just kind of like throw in color. I'll throw in like a dash of color. and see if that gives me the look I'm going for, because I want that clear tan line effect. But still have those rosy cheeks, right? So maybe something like this would look good. Yeah, there we go. Looks good. There we go, rosy cheeks. And then see how I can go in there and then I can kind of like cut this back because it's on its own layer. See that? That actually is really cool. I like that a lot. I want it to be a little bit more rosy though. So I'm gonna lock this area and I'm gonna add some more reds to it. See if I can give us the, oh yeah. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Haha, that looks great. Yeah, so now she has that clear tan line, which we like so much. We like that goggle tan line. Let's go ahead and flip it. Take a look at how we're doing here. Yeah, that looks great, guys. That looks so great. All right, let's go ahead and blend this out. Let's go ahead and blend these areas. Again, simplicity is key. I found that when you're working with faces in general, simplicity is usually where it's at. You want to try not to get in there. Try not to get in there and do one of these things. I know this is an anime girl, but even in like normal drawings, you want to be careful not to go in there and like try to like refine this stuff too much or like draw this and, you know, like all the laugh lines and stuff like that. You can do that stuff, and that stuff does exist in real life portraits. However, the difference is that it's just very, very low contrast. It's very, very low contrast. And this is a constant thing that I see people do. A constant mistake that they do is they try to light the face with too much contrast. They're doing this type of stuff, and they're trying to light everything too dark. And now she has like this really awesome goatee. But don't do that stuff. Keep it simple. You can have those details in there, but make them very, very low contrast. Okay? I actually like that little turnip on the nose. That looks really nice. Gives it a little bit more flavor without being overly... See, I like that too. Going up like that. That looks awesome. That looks so great. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of cooler shadows down here. Cool off your shadows down below. That way it simulates your ambient lights. You guys are doing that stuff, right? I hope so. All right, now I'm going to put it in a nice bright light right here because we got a lot of light hitting this area. We got a lot of light hitting this area and this area. Let's go ahead and blend that out. Blend that out, people. Okay, now look, before your very eyes, we have our beautiful Wayna taking shape. All right, cool thing with the eyes, the light is going to bounce off of the opposite side, okay, because of the satellite dish effect. So the light's coming from here, that means, oh, light's coming from the top left, that means the bottom right of your eyes are going to be the brightest points. Okay, bottom right. Cool. Oh yeah, that looks awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Let's go ahead and put some extra color into these eyes. Actually, I feel like maybe I need to simplify those a little bit more because I think part of the charm of the original Wayna was that she has almost like these eyes that are very close in contrast. Like see here, you can still see the iris in there, but it's a very low contrast. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lighten up the irises. That's what we're gonna do here. Lighten these guys up as well. Give us a little less contrast in there, but that should give us more like Wayna's eyes. Yeah, that looks awesome. That looks grand. That's just grand. All right, guys. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. It's a Christmas miracle. I was able to paint something live. I was able to paint something live, and it actually didn't turn out like crap. Truly is a gift from old Saint Nick. All right, guys. So once you get the face, and let's just go ahead and turn these on and off. Look at the differences that we've made here. So here to here, here to here. See how we're just kind of like painting those colors in? We're kind of like overlaying those colors in, keeping in mind our values all along, right? And then we're able to, basically we've laid the foundation for our work. And now what we're going in there and doing is just refining. That's all we're doing. We're just refining. Refining and defining. Now, these would also be tanned, so her ears are tanned. So we need to also make these darker. And don't be afraid to get in there and do some nice cast shadows, right? I love cast shadows. Good man once told me the difference between good art and great art is just your cast shadows. Show that things are actually affecting each other. Show that, see the hair. See how the hair is like actually casting a shadow onto the face? You know, little details like that make a huge difference. Little details like that. So don't forget it, guys. Don't forget it. Okay, same thing down here. See the cast shadow right there going onto the chest, and then we kind of come to this point. Let's have that nice nice band of red showing our subsurface happening there. And let's continue to the rest of the chest. There we go. This would be nicely tanned as well. Let's make sure we're capturing that. So I want to soften this a little bit more in this area. I always love going in with the soft brush and using that to kind of blend my faces as well. I find using the soft brush is really good for that. I used to do it all with the chalk brush, but I'm not that big of a fan of that anymore. I don't really like to do it that way anymore. So soft brush is good for just blending, doing those last little bits. There we go. Cool. Let's have a nice little shiny part there. And let's have, because this boob is totally going to be picking up a ton of light, so let's have a nice, clear, shiny spot right there. There we go. Cool. All right, and let's follow up with our good old sweater. Good old sweater. Let's go ahead and put some little bit of detail in here. Nothing too crazy though. Let's go ahead and kick this thing up like major. Kick this thing up major. So let's go ahead and light those parts that we know are going to be attracting a lot of light, which we've already kind of laid in, which is great. Oh, let's not forget about the zipper. The zipper is going to be attracting a lot of light as well. Good, 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 good. Let's have that zipper go up like that. Awesome. Awesome. Now, here's another cool thing. Okay, so the zipper's getting a lot of light here, but let's not forget about the edge of the zipper, which is going to kind of pick up this blue because it's reflecting what's back here. It's reflecting what's back here if it's like a shiny metal. So it's reflecting those blues back there. So don't forget it. A little bit of blue never hurt anybody. Okay, a little bit of blue there. And again, see how we're able to convey a lot of information even though there's not a lot of detail. There is, yes, like properly, like strategically picked colors, but do you see how the mind of your viewer fills in a lot of those details? The mind of your viewer fills in whatever is not there. And that is what I like. I like that type of stuff. Why are you doing all the work? Let your viewer do some of the work. You made this amazing picture for them. Why would you not let them do part of the work? Okay? Let your viewers fill in some of that information. You just give them the building blocks, and they will do the rest, and they will love you all the same. At least I hope so, in my experience. In my experience, that's the way it's been. Okay, we'll have some nice shininess right there, a little bit of shininess there. We're going to be finishing this up, guys. I'm feeling really good about this. I'm probably going to allow the rest of the body to be fairly rough. And I'm going to put this on Patreon for you guys so you guys can take a look at everything. And that should be awesome. Cool. All right. Cast shadow. Don't forget about this cast shadow right here. There you go. There's also going to be a cast shadow right here from this part of the scarf. Dark shadows there. I'm also going to do some dark shadows here. There we go. Wow. Yeah, that looks awesome. Very happy with how this turned out, guys. Thank you for sitting with me on this lovely December morning. Or it's probably a December evening for you if you're watching this now. But, yes, thank you for watching this with me. I hope this really helped you guys out with just understanding a little bit more of my process. Because I'm not showing you guys... I I determined myself that I'm not showing you guys enough of my actual process. And you guys deserve to see more of that. You guys deserve to see all the mistakes that I make, all the problems that I'm solving. It's all that stuff. And how awesome a piece can come together when you just relax and take proper breaks. Okay, so do that. Yeah, that looks so cool. Want this to be a little bit more clear. There we go. Ha! Yeah, that is really cool. All right, so here's a quick way to, we've got all these pieces in here that still look a little too sketchy for me. Let me show you how we will go ahead and fix that. And in the meantime, while I do that, let's go ahead and answer some question catapults. Cast those presents. Save this. Yeah, this is great. All right, let's go ahead and get started on these questions. Wait. Okay, here we go. Got 2 coming in, and I will answer these as I continue throughout this. So let's start with this one coming in from Void of Thought. Void of Thought. Wait a minute. Where is the actual question? Okay, cool. Void of Thought is asking, connections should be underlined. Lots of people. Oh, quick question about college connections. Okay, so there's a college over here called Columbia College Chicago. I heard it was reputable from a variety of sources, in person and online. Okay, great. Sounds like a great place. However, I'm not intending to gain any additional knowledge on art. I'm going to learn. I'm more than well aware that I can learn off campus in terms of technique, anything. Yeah, okay, good. However, my main problem is that Columbia is known for its connections. Okay, cool. $20,000 a year for 4 years to increase possibly a stable job in my fields. Okay, so I see where this is going. So you're asking, okay, I want to go to college because I want to be able to network with people. I want to meet with my teachers. I want to meet with other colleagues. I want to be able to be scouted from these AAA video game companies, and that's all well and good. Yes, and of course, college is going to cost a lot of money, especially art colleges. Yeah, $20K a month, that sounds about right. Now, you're asking if this is a worthy price to pay. Is this a worthy price to pay? And my answer to you is no, it's not. If you're going just to meet people and you're more than confident that you can teach yourself online, dude, just save that money. Save that money. That's totally like $20,000. That's a down payment on a nice house. You know, it's like save that money because you know what's a lot less than $20,000 a year? You could pay $100 one time to go over to Anaheim, go fly to Anaheim. So obviously you're going to be buying a plane ticket as well. And you go to Anaheim convention or you go to San Diego Comic-Con, you go to any of these conventions and you're going to be surrounded by thousands and thousands of other artists, millions, well, maybe not millions, but like tons of people. And guess what? A lot of those people from those gaming companies that you want to work for, they have booths there. They are set up promoting their new game or they're promoting their own art. And you can go up and you can meet with them face to face. You can bring your portfolio and ask them for a bit of their time. Some of them are a little bit kind of not so nice, but most of them are actually very nice and they'll be happy to take their time to talk to you. So if you're looking for connections, I would totally recommend save the money on college because if you're spending $20,000 to just go to college and meet people, you can do that anywhere else for a lot less. Now, if you're going to college because you want to meet with a specific professor or there's this technique or it's reputable for just the way that they teach their students, then yes, those are absolutely reasons for you to go. But for connections, heck no, do not do that. All right, next question coming in, and then I will go ahead and move over to back to painting because that is what I said I would do. Okay. Oh, and this is one of my personal favorites. It's a great one to end the day on as well. Let's see. Thy Lacinus is asking, too late to start? Interesting. I have never gotten this question before. Okay, but he or she asks, I wanted to learn the skills necessary to create art for a long time since I was in grade school, but I kept getting told I shouldn't bother, so I gave up. Oh my gosh. Oh, this hurts my heart. This makes my heart just it aches so badly for you. Thy Lacinus. I've browsed DeviantArt since my teens, found your KNKL page recently. Awesome. Discovered your tutorials on YouTube, few of which are perfect for beginners. I want to get into it now. However, I'm in my late 20s, and I'm afraid it's too late, and I'm too old to start. Is it too late? Okay. All right, so I have some good news and some bad news for you, Thylacinus. And I'll go ahead and switch over to this as we begin painting. So, and this goes for everybody, because I'm sure everybody has this same thought at some point in their lives. And it's basically, it's the same thing, it's just said differently. And that is, I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like there's so many people out there that are better than me, and maybe I should just not start. Maybe all those people that told me that I couldn't do it, maybe they were right. You know, maybe I should just, just get my nice little, happy little stable job, not really building any skill, not really going to become a valuable person in the marketplace, all that stuff. And I don't know how to say this, but frankly, I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of hearing it because it's not true. It's absolutely not true. In fact, well, here's the sad part. Here's the bad news. The good news is that it's not true, but the bad news is that if you think it's true, it is. If you think that it's too late, Thylacinus, then it actually is. But if you are willing to listen to yourself, listen to your heart, listen to where you want to go, and not listen to all these other people that are naysaying, right, then there is still plenty of opportunity. Are you going to be able to learn everything that you need to in a few years? Probably not. But can you get really dang good in a few years? Yes. You could be doing stuff like this. I'm fully confident that I can teach somebody to do this type of stuff in just a matter of, it's going to take years. And that's the thing. It's like people think that they look at this and be like, oh man, I looked at this, I watched this one YouTube tutorial, and I can do this now. I can bring my friend over here who's never drawn in his life, and if he just follows the step-by-step, he can do this. But the answer is no, of course not. It's going to take years for you to do that. But people hear that. People hear years. And they're just like, oh man, does it really have to take that long? And let me tell you this right now. If that thought goes through your head of like, is it going to take years? Then this is not for you. Art is not for you, or at least it's not meant to be your career. Because for me, when I was growing up, it was never a question. It was never a question. It wasn't even like a thing that I thought of like, oh, hey, like I could do this for a living one day. It wasn't necessarily that. Like I was excited about it, and I just pursued art for the love of creating something. And that's what I think a lot of people need more of in their life. They need to, obviously set it up so that way they can have, well, a lot of people go for things because they say like, especially in college, they're like, oh, well, I need to get this degree and I need to become this because it makes this much money. And while money is a very important thing, of course, we all need to admit that. It helps you live. It actually enables you to live. That in itself is not enough. It's not enough. But what is enough is picking something that you really, truly like and then allowing your passion for it to drive you to build those skills over years. And then guess what happens when you have skill? When you have skill, people want it. There's a lot of people out here that can't do what you do because you're the one that spent the years doing it and they spent years doing something else. Some good things, right? They have skills of their own, but other people, they don't have a lot of skills, and they're usually called PMs, by the way. Watch out for them. No. Actually, that's so bad to say. I'm sorry. Forget I said that. Anyway. So the point is that you want to find something that you truly enjoy. And you got to ask yourself, like, am I willing to do this for years? Am I willing to do this for the rest of my life? And there's nothing wrong with saying no. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I actually just want this to be a hobby. Because, I play guitar, and I obviously like to sing, as you saw at the beginning of the episode. But that's all just for fun. I'm not trying to become a professional singer. I'm not trying to become a professional actor or any of that stuff. This is all just hobby stuff. And that's okay. That's okay with me. I am totally fine with that never really leading to anything like lucrative, right? Turning it into a business, because I'm not necessarily trying to. But things can pop up every now and then. It's like I was planning to do this show whether or not I ever got paid. But you guys are so awesome and you're willing to like support it. And you've actually turned it into an awesome business. And things like that just tend to happen. But do you see how the preparedness was already there? Do you see how the show was already in place? It wasn't like I saw Patreon and I was like, oh, hey, you know what would be really good with this? I'm going to create a friggin' tutorial show A show about creating art, and then maybe the people can like download the PSDs or something, and then that'll be a great business. No, it's like, no, it was so natural because I was already doing all that stuff. And then it's just like Patreon appeared, and I was like, okay, cool. Well, that's a cool way for people to give back. And people have been saying they want to download the PSDs, and then they can do that. So it was just a win-win. Okay? So all in all, that is what I would recommend to you, my friend. You got to ask yourself, if you truly feel it's too late, then it is, unfortunately. But if in your heart you feel like it's not and you're ready to put the time forth, then do that. But do not think for a moment that you can escape the rule of you got to have skill in order to be valuable. You got to have skills that other people don't have. And what I mean by that is, what I'm really trying to get at by that, and it's a bit of it's definitely real talk for sure. It's definitely real talk for sure, is that if you have a skill, if your skill is something that a lot of other people have, then unfortunately you're just not valued. It's supply and demand. However, if you develop something that other people don't have, and this is what I'm getting at, figure out what that skill is. Figure out what that thing is that you're super passionate about, that you don't have to think about, like, oh man, is this really for me? It's just like, you don't even have to think about that. It's like, no, I just like this. And it's like almost to the point where you don't even care if it becomes a business or not. Oftentimes I've found for me, that works out well. But that's my type of mindset. I'm a little bit more adventurous. I'm a little bit more crazy. I'm a little bit more dumb sometimes, so sometimes it works out to my favor, but there's plenty of times where it hasn't. There's plenty of times where my blind faith has not worked out very well, and I've been taken advantage of too. So you got to make sure that you're also very well balanced. And I think that's what we're all trying to go for. We're all trying to find that balance. So I hope that helps you out. Mr. or Mrs. Oh shoot, I forgot the name. Thy Lassinus. There we go. Hope that helps you out, my friend. All right, guys. And with that, we are looking pretty dang good here. I'm actually feeling really good about this. I think we're going to finish this up. I'm going to finish this up, upload this over to Patreon. You guys can take a look for yourselves. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I know I sure have. Drawing for you guys, real time, showing you an entire process. And I'm really okay with ending it here because, yes, there's a lot of refinement that we can still do, but you guys have seen me do this time and time again. It's really just cleaning up your shapes, cleaning up your values, making sure everything's clear. And it's just like at this point, it's just a matter of time. The hard stuff, I feel like we already got all out of the way. And with that, I am confident with ending it. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, so thank you so much for joining me for the KNKL Christmas special. It's a Christmas miracle, right? We made a piece that actually worked out well. I'll put the link to the Patreon right up here. And you can download not only this PSD, but all the other PSDs from the past. And again, I really do appreciate everyone who supports the show, not only monetarily, but also by telling your friends about it. Hope you guys get some good value out of this. Hope you guys learned a lot from watching it happen real time. And with that, I'm going to say thank you to my amazing sponsors. Laura Bashir, David Chiariello, and Megan Gwynn, and the Chanceys. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. And with that, we are done. We are done. I'm so happy. So happy this turned out good. This turned out very well. I'll probably do a couple little minor adjustments before I post this on Instagram. And that's going to be it. All right, guys. So you take care of yourselves. You guys have a great Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all those holidays. Happy holidays to you guys. Thank you for joining me and Wayna as we created our piece today. Let me go ahead and pull up the outro music. Where is it? There we go. All right, there we go. And with that, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your month. I will be seeing you guys next week. Well, we're probably working more on the Mika Mocha piece, more made of metal, or whatever the heck I want to do. I don't know. But I probably will be taking a week off. Obviously, in the coming months, in the coming weeks, I'm not sure exactly when, but I'll be sure to let you guys know. So you guys take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.